friends, but get the business part out of the way first. Funny story with boundaries, text messaging. You think especially if you only have one phone number, and you don't have a business line, of course you're going to text with your clients, because how else are they going to get in touch with you? You can put some guidelines as the time frames and stuff, but way, way, way back in the day, we had this client and they would text me all the time. I actually had my cell phone on our business cards, and Michelle's like, yeah, have fun with that. And this couple would text me a lot. And sometimes he would text me, I want to surprise my wife, la, 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 that type of stuff. And they would text me way too often. And because I was pretty new with Michelle, I thought it was important for me to answer, any time of day. Apparently I didn't have much of a life and I was able to do that. But it got a little out of control to the point where I got in the middle, without them realizing it, of a spousal dispute when she thought she was texting him and she was actually texting me. So if you set those boundaries, things like that won't happen. And let me tell you how awkward it was. She was spewing names, accusing him of this and that. It was, like the kids say TMI, way too much information for me to handle. So setting the boundaries, I never addressed it to the couple. I thought, I don't want to embarrass them any further by saying, you do realize it, because I think they did. But borderline, what are these boundaries and what do they mean? And how do they affect you during the holidays? Well, the holidays, everybody celebrates different holidays. But you just have to let people know your business hours. We're fortunate that Michelle Lynn lets us close down during the holidays, because basically nobody wants us in their house. They're too busy talking about other things besides, is my couch still on back order? So we let everyone know that the offices are closed, and we put it out on office during the holidays, and saying, most of our trade vendors are also closed during the holidays. A lot of factories shut down between Christmas and New Year's. So the boundaries are whatever you choose those boundaries to be. So personally, my boundaries like to include throughout, extend throughout the year, not just the holidays. I don't want to interrupt their private personal time. And I also want my clients to respect mine, that just because, and this is the key, just because they're thinking about their project as they're sitting there, looking around their house at 10:30 at night, doesn't mean that you are, and you don't have to be. So business hours, business hours, business hours everywhere. Put it on your email. Say, you will receive a response within, X amount of time. But the next business day, which is perfectly acceptable, you can put your hours. I personally work 8 to 4. I am not 4 o'clock. My body's like, yeah, let's get home. So when you tell people that in advance, that's the key to setting the boundaries. And yeah, every once in a while, things get a little out of, if there's a design emergency, which is usually something with construction, something that has to be settled. A lot of my clients, those ideal clients out there will actually, if they text me or send me an email on off hours or after business hours, a lot of them will put, do not look at this until Monday. That's how I know that setting boundaries work, is if those are the people that I told up front, look, this is the time of day that I work. Yes, sometimes if you're out and you're thinking of something, shoot me an email with a picture of it, whatever, tag me in something on Instagram. That's great. If I don't respond immediately, it doesn't mean I'm ignoring you. It usually means I'm on my private time. And as long as, everything is about communication. So those boundaries, need to be set by you. So if you haven't done it yet, what you can always do to do a reset of those boundaries, and I tend to reset every single January, is your New Year's resolution is to set up client boundaries, business boundaries not only for your new clients, but your existing clients. Say, you know what, moving forward, I made this New Year's resolution that I need to focus on my family when it's family time. So I've set up these boundaries, and that way you can focus on, your personal life as well. And I'll get back to you the next business day. So it's just a matter of preparation and remembering, do you live to work or do you work to live? Do you love your job? There's a balance. So to have that good work-life balance, you have to make sure that you actually set boundaries yourself for your life and your business. Because remember, it's your business, it is not theirs. You are driving the bus. You are the bus driver of your own design business. Any questions? I just had chocolate, so I'm a little rambly. So. Let me think. Nothing like quiet time, huh? Anyway, so, and especially if you're traveling, make sure your clients know that you're out of town and out of pocket and can't get to email. Or if you do, make sure you say it's on a specific day or something like that. I just recently got back from taking care of elderly parents and some surgical issues and all this mess. And anyway, you've got to set those boundaries. And I did last week. Okay, Erin has a question. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I just thought it'd be easier for me to unmute to ask. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay. So basically, are you saying like the best thing to do would be to like, I kind of struggle with the timing with all of like the process of the project. Like I'll
Mhm.
say like, okay, you picked this table. Now I have to like source the pricing and figure out like the stone and all this stuff. But that's going to take me like another week because, I'm doing all these other things.
Mhm.
So do you think it's wise to say to them like, okay, I'll get you this information back by next week at this day, like for every step of the process?
Um, Consolidate it usually, or just, as you're sourcing things, like tell them, like, look, I'm looking into the pricing and the all the information regarding your table. I want to get all the logistics and let you know them at once so you can make the decision. Because what if it's, a 30-month lead time? Not
Right.
only is there a price factor, but what if there's a time factor as well? So if you consolidate your information and get back to them, just give them a guideline. I'm hoping to find out and get back to you by the end of next week. So that way they know you're not blowing them off. Then by the end of next week, if you still haven't heard, you can let them know that, what, my rep hasn't, the rep is looking into the time frame or something like that. It's just a matter of being them aware that you're thinking of their time as well. It's not just about personal time, it's about their time as well. So if you don't have to flood them with the details. That's why they hire you. Okay. So,
Okay.
but just to give them the basics so they get an understanding that you're keeping them in the loop. So staying in the loop doesn't need to be, I emailed her 3 times. I only heard from her this time.
Right.
She gave me partial information. Just that's why they pay you. I don't ask, my hairstylist the mix for my color type of thing. I don't need to know that. I trust her expertise. So any type of information you're giving to a client, just let them know that you're, confident in your delivery and set up those timeframes. I mean, you're operating a business. You're not their personal independent designer. I mean, you're not on their staff as their sole designer. So they have to understand that you have other clients, and so it's totally reasonable to get back to them in a week, and that type of thing. And just to managing the expectations. So if you just leave it open, like I'm checking on the price, I'll get back to you. Then they're thinking, well, is that this afternoon? Is it tomorrow? And then they're thinking about it. But if you give them that plan ahead as to when they can hear from you, that way they're not going to reach out to you this evening saying, well, did you hear? When you specifically said, give me a week, it's,
Right.
you're not the only client of the table manufacturer. It's not just online shopping. We're not personal shoppers. There's so much more to it. And it's just an education that, I can't get this information immediately because, think about it. Some of our vendors, they have these monstrous retail clients, and we're the little onesie twosie designer over here. So things don't always, you cannot get, it's that instant gratification thing is just, it doesn't work. And as long as they're aware that I'm thinking about you, I'm working on it, this is when you're going to hear, there you go. Does that make
Thank you
sense?
so much. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
That was
good.
really
Okay,
helpful.
good. Makes perfect sense. Sarah from Facebook. What if a client wants to be friends, but it's tricky because they want deals to become, wants to become friends? How do you navigate that? First of all, they're not your friend if they want deals. Okay. I'm very fortunate that one of my biggest client when I started working with Michelle has become a dear friend. We got to dinner, couples dinners, all that stuff all the time. She knows that we sell furniture. She knows that that keeps our doors open. That's part of our business model because she respects it. She respects that we are professionals, and she wouldn't want to hurt me by asking for something that could basically affect the bottom line of the company. So it's one of those things. What's the motivation of the friendship? And it's just like, look, I have to run a business and I can't do special favors, especially when they start as a client, and don't work with friends or family because that always goes south. But when a client becomes a friend, you just need to tell them that, if they try to do that, just say, okay, when we're out to lunch, this is, a friend lunch. If they want to talk business, they're going to need to schedule an appointment and they're going to be treated like something separate. We have grandfathered rates, not for purchases. We do not discount our purchases. We have grandfathered hourly blocks and stuff for people who come back for onesie twosies to their original rate, depending on if it's not too crazy. So those boundaries have to be set, and the ones that are true friends and respect you as a designer will respect the fact of, you got to stop and think of why they hired you in the first place, and they can't take advantage of that. That's just not fair. So you just got to, that's a serious boundary, and you just have to be upfront with them about it and just say, sorry, my hands are tied. I have bills to pay. I have to feed my kids. Say something like that. That usually gets the message across. I have to pay my mortgage. I can't discount things for you. So it still costs the same. So, oh, good. Anybody else? Any other questions? So basically, boundaries are what you make them. If you want respect for them, you can't have the respect for them if they're not created in the first place. So don't fear the rejection. Anticipate the respect. So
I have something that comes up inside the bakery in the paid program a lot for the people that say, like, okay, so I'm mid project and I didn't really set good processes and boundaries up front, but I would like to transition to setting some. So how do you, because you're like, okay, I have months still left to work with these people. How do I kind of reset or move to boundaries when I didn't have them to begin with?
A good way to reset these boundaries is by making an announcement. And like we talked about, setting the personal boundaries, like with communication, you can say, effective January 1st, this is this. And say, starting in the new business year, this is what we're doing. Starting in the fourth quarter, this is what we're doing. And just let them know that this is how you operate now. So they understand that things have changed and going forward. And a lot of times in the bakery, when we talk about what's your reason, and we say, well, I've been working with a business coach and to, keep my doors open. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm going moving forward to basically make my business more successful and run more smoothly, is that I need to put these processes in place. And thank you for your cooperation. So a good client has referred me several times, but one of her referrals expected the same rate I gave her friend. My rate has changed since then. Then that's what you tell her. My rates have increased since X date. It doesn't even matter if you don't remember the date. Tell her January 1, 2023, my rates, and I had a rate increase for all new clients, including referrals. Period. You don't have to explain any further than that. You know, this is your business. I run my business XYZ. Period. Would you like to put a date on the calendar? What are they going to do? It's either going to be too much for them to pay you, or they're going to realize that, you know, they're asking forgiveness, not permission, or something, you know, that whatever that thing is. Just like you just have to tell them, no, this is my rate now. It's you know, that was then, this is now. I've changed my rates. So that's the best you can do. And if they walk, wait for the next one. There'll always be the next one who won't question that rate. You know, we aren't a bargain basement. We aren't car dealers. We are not here to make deals. You know, this is how you run your business. All right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Debbie.
Yeah.
For those of you listening live still, we just opened doors to our Sugar and Spice Society, and that's a monthly membership of $49 a month, where we have a private Facebook group where you can get on-the-spot coaching like this. So you just pop your question in the group and you get coaching from Michelle and Debbie and the team. And then we have 3 really high quality experienced designers that have graduated Michelle's program and are offering to serve and support others. The community will be great. There'll also be a monthly live training with Michelle that goes deeper, and there'll be action steps for you to take that month to help you build your business. And then there's a private podcast that'll come out quarterly. That's not a public podcast. It's just for society members. So I'm going to pop the link in the chat. Let me pull it up. And if you have any questions about it, just let me know. It's going to be amazing. So it's a reasonable price for you to get good support with Michelle before you have the investment, maybe for the bakery or some one-on-one coaching and whatnot. It's gonna be great. I'm really, really excited. We're kicking off our first training next week, and it's going to be on 3 simple ways for you to bring in revenue to your business fast. So we're trying to get you up and running and taking action and increasing your client load and revenue and, you know, investing in your business. So I hope you'll check it out.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Your mind is going to be blown at just the little things you can do to really improve your business. Just minor steps, and it's on the pathway to the success of your own business.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much, Debbie, and thanks everyone for attending.
Yep. Everyone have a great week and set those boundaries.
All right. Bye.
Bye.